I'm going to keep this straightforward because I know how easy it is to feel a little stuck when you're looking at a high-end gaming screen. You see the big numbers, 39 inches, OLED, 240 Hz, 0.03 milliseconds, and it's tempting to think, if I spend the cash, I'll get the ultimate experience. But the real question is whether those headlines actually translate into something that makes sense for your desk, your games, and your budget. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When I started digging, the first thing I asked myself was, do I really need a 39-inch curved OLED for the games I play? Or am I just chasing a shiny spec sheet? A lot of buyers hesitate because OLED monitors are known for deep blacks and amazing contrast, but they also come with a price tag that can feel risky if you're not sure the daily experience justifies it. I looked at how the monitor fits into typical setups: a mid-sized desk, a dual PC rig, a console in the same room, and I tried to picture the everyday moments. Long weekend marathon sessions, quick multiplayer matches, and even the occasional movie night. Let's start with who actually benefits from this size and curvature. If you have a desk that can comfortably accommodate a 39-inch panel with its 800R curve, you'll notice a real sense of immersion. The curve isn't just a visual gimmick. It keeps the edges of the screen at a more natural viewing distance, which reduces the need to constantly swivel your head. For a competitive shooter or a flight sim, that can mean you're tracking enemies or instruments without straining. I've seen it work well for people who sit a bit farther back, say 3,035 inches, because the curve pulls the image toward you, keeping the whole field of view crisp. The OLED panel is where the magic really shows up, especially in darker games. Since each pixel can turn off completely, you get true blacks that make shadow detail pop. In a game like The Last of Us Part 2, the nighttime cityscapes look almost cinematic, with the faint glow of streetlights standing out against an inky backdrop. That's the kind of visual fidelity you can't get from a standard LED backlight. The VISA DisplayHDR True Black 400 certification backs up the claim. It's not just marketing speak. It means the monitor can sustain higher peak brightness while still preserving the deep blacks OLED is famous for. Now let's talk speed. The 240 Hz refresh rate paired with a 0.03 milliseconds response time sounds like overkill, but in practice it feels like a noticeable reduction in motion blur. I ran a few fast-paced titles, Valorant, Apex Legends, CS2, and the image stayed razor-sharp even when I was turning quickly. The combination of high refresh and the ultra-low response means the monitor can keep up with a GPU pushing 200+ FPS without the ghosting you sometimes see on slower panels. For anyone who relies on split-second reactions, that's a genuine advantage. On the connectivity side, the USB-C port is a nice touch. If you have a modern laptop or a next-gen console that supports video over USB-C, you can drive the whole display with a single cable handling video, audio, and power. That reduces desk clutter, which is a real win when you're already juggling a keyboard, mouse, and maybe a headset. The built-in speakers aren't meant to replace a proper sound system, but they're decent enough for casual chat or game alerts if you're on the go. So who should seriously consider this monitor? First, gamers who already own a high-end graphics card and want a display that can actually showcase what that hardware can do. If you're hitting 200+ FPS in your favorite titles, you'll be able to use a large portion of the 240 Hz bandwidth, and the OLED's color accuracy will let you see the details you're working for. Second, creators who need accurate color and deep contrast for video editing or photo work can benefit from the HDR capability, especially if you're already in the LG ecosystem and appreciate the consistent color profile across devices. Finally, anyone who values a sleek, minimal footprint will appreciate the ultra-thin anti-glare design. It sits low on the desk and doesn't dominate the room like a bulky TV would. Conversely, there are clear reasons to walk away. If your primary use is office work, spreadsheets, or occasional web browsing, the extra size and the OLED price premium are hard to justify. The monitor also runs a bit hotter than a typical LED panel, so you'll want good airflow around it. A cramped desk with a tower right behind the screen could cause the fan to spin up more often. Another practical concern is the risk of OLED burn-in. While LG has implemented pixel shifting and other protections, static UI elements, think game HUDs that stay on the screen for hours, could theoretically degrade over long periods. If you're a competitive player who keeps a radar or scoreboard visible for marathon sessions, you might want to consider a periodic screensaver routine or a monitor that lets you toggle those elements off when you don't.